to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Erin Gilrein. I'm an English teacher here at Oceanside High School.
Hi, my name is Brendon Mitchell. I am a principal at Castleton, Oceanside's alternative high school.
This summer, we have really enjoyed reading A Monster Calls, the book that we're all reading together here in Oceanside, and we'd like to share with you our favorite passages.
I will begin.
Sure.
Excellent. So I guess we were tasked with certain chapters. The chapter that grabbed me the most was What's the Use of You? It's towards the end of the novel. And this is my line. Bottom of 171 if you're following along. You were the one who called me, Connor O'Malley, it said, looking at him seriously. You are the one with the answers to these questions. If I called you, Connor said, his face boiling red, tears he was hardly aware of streaming angrily down his cheeks, it was to save her. It was to heal her. There was a rustling through the monster's leaves, like the wind stirring them in a long, slow sigh. I did not come to heal her, the monster said. I came to heal you.
Can we get a minute here for the tear?
Powerful line.
It sure is. Actually, that was one of my favorite lines too, where he said, where the monster says, I came to heal you. Right? It's that moment we've been waiting for where the monster really lays it down.
Right. It kind of gives us a little, not closure, but a little bit of satisfaction about what we've been leading up to at this point. And for me, you know, as we read, we always probably kind of think of ourselves and we see ourselves through these characters. And it makes me think kind of, you know, when we have dreams or when we have these things going on, what's the point of it? What's the purpose of it? So that's really where I was with the reading.
I keep thinking with that passage too, it's the idea of the monster associated with something that we fear, but somehow leaning into the fear is what brings the healing. And that's the scary thing. I mean, who wants to lean into fear and talk to the monster and delve deep into that? But this is indicating that sometimes that's where we have to go.
Right, exactly. Like the whole, fight or flight. I mean, some of us in the face of conflict or fear, we want to run away. We want to get away from it. And Connor here and us sometimes in real life, we realize eventually we have to face it. We have to confront it. And for Connor, it's that monster, and it's the dream that's to follow that we hear about.
One of my other favorite passages happened earlier in this reading, right at the start of the chapter called What's the Use of You, on page 169. Let's see. A little less than halfway down, the narration says, he realized it would probably never be his home again. And that's when I was like, oh my goodness.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Right.
He begs his grandma to go back to his home, and he's standing there talking, wanting to see the tree one last time, realizing this might be the end of the childhood that he's always known.
Have you ever done that, like gone back to a childhood home or a childhood memory, a childhood place? I mean, it's a very powerful moment, and for Connor, obviously here with everything that's going on with Mom and the hospital, like it kind of brings it all together. And I just think of going back to those homes of our youth and where we see like that old tree that we used to go to. We probably all have like an old tree or an old swing set or something. And it's this powerful moment, a great line.
Definitely. But one of the questions that popped into my head reading these chapters is, why is it so important to speak your truth?
That's a great question. And actually, I did think about it a lot while we read, because I think, we see with Connor and kind of coming to terms with this dream that he's had and the reality of what his life is. I think it's important to speak your truth because it's going to come out eventually. And if you don't speak your truth, if you're not honest with yourself, you're always going to be kind of held back. You're always going to be restrained. You're never going to quite be true to who you are. So I think what Connor learns and what maybe we learn as we read is that in the end, what you have to do is be true to who you are, be true to what you believe, what you're feeling, and in that truth, that honesty, then you're going to be able to move forward and along in your life.
I definitely agree with you. And what we see here is Connor finding a way to process his truth and find a way to articulate it, because his truth is, in truth, hard for him to recognize. Right? To deal with the impending death of a parent is real heavy stuff for a light summer read.
Right.
But when we see him trying to figure out how to navigate that territory.
Right, and it's interesting because like in a book, it's Connor's young and he's a child, but I think that's for anybody, anybody, especially who's reading the book, or adults, along the way, we all are going to have to deal with serious stuff, and we have to figure out a way to navigate that. For Connor, it was through this dream and a yew tree monster. For us, it might come out in different ways. So a question I had while I was reading is, how would this story change if the setting was different?
That's an interesting one. And for me, I don't know if the story would change all that much if the setting was different. Sure, the monster might look different, but grappling with real human condition and real human problems, that occurs no matter what the setting is.
Right, I agree. I think the monster for Connor would be personified in some other way. Maybe it wouldn't be a tree, but it would be something, because we grab elements of reality and twist them into our dreams and fears.
So as I was reading, I was thinking lots of things, and one of the things I was wondering is about the interplay between grasping something really hard and letting it go.
That's a great thing to wonder, because I think oftentimes it is that battle of letting things go, holding them tight. You think about with kids as they grow up, or parents as they move away, or anything in our life, we do have that battle. What I was wondering about kind of as I was reading is, how much should we listen to our dreams, or how much should we pay attention to the things in our dreams and try to kind of make sense of them? We all have those, crazy dreams, wacky dreams that just seem so silly, but is there something there to them that's going on with us? So it really kind of made me think, as I was reading the book, like, maybe I should pay more attention to these things and listen to what's going on in my subconscious and wonder, what it's trying to tell me. Like for Connor, it's a yew tree, throwing things at him and picking them up. But maybe there's something to be said for these dreams that I have too, that I should be listening to.
That's awesome.
That's what I wonder.
Google, what is this dream about?
Exactly. You want to end it, or you want me to end?
We can
okay,
end
okay, we can end together? Together.
Oh, that's so nice.
Under the yew tree.
So if you haven't started to read A Monster Calls yet, it is a great book. And what's even more awesome is that there's great illustrations in here. Did you check that one out from our chapters?
It's beautiful.
Right? And what's really nice about this book is the illustrations are throughout, and it helps to guide understanding when you're reading. And for me, it helped me to really pull into the nightmares that Connor was having.
Right, so I would just say, if you haven't grabbed it yet, it's definitely not too late. Pick up a copy and you'll cruise through it. It's an enjoyable read. It's tense sometimes. It's a lot going on in the book, but it's well worth it, and we would really encourage you to keep reading this summer and enjoy this novel.
And if you're looking for a copy, pop over to the Oceanside Library or pop over here to Oceanside High School, and I'm sure we have a few that you could borrow.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we take it from me replying to her wonderment? Is wonderment good? Yeah, that's something.
We can make words up, right?
I think so.
You should have your own podcast.
Oh, podcast! Under the yew tree. Oh, that's nice. It's a tree-themed podcast.
And
Talking
then
books and
talking
trees.
books.
Sorry. Sorry. You ready?
Are
Are you going to ask me?
I feel like you're back.
I'm just...
Wait, me? You?
Me? You? You, me? All right. Great. I did not wonder that, but I wish I did.
You can
Because
now.
and I am. Because, again, I'm making a lot of parallels with our own lives. That's kind of how I am as a reader. Oh, that was some loud noise.
Yeah.
It's thunder. It's going to rain. Get out in some rain. The monster.